Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today we will discuss the case of public relay that was decided at the GAO. The case concerns a Phase 3 sole source governed by the policy directive. The SBIR program was established to increase the participation of small business concerns in federally funded research or research and development. The SBIR program has 3 phases. Under Phase 1, firms competitively apply for an award to test the scientific, technical, and commercial merit and feasibility of a concept. Under Phase 2, a firm may submit a proposal to further develop the concept that it first conceived in Phase 1. For Phase 3, the Small Business Act provides that where appropriate, there may be a third phase for work that derives from, extends, or completes efforts made under prior funding agreements under the SBIR program. Under Phase 3, firms obtain funding from the private sector or non-SBIR government sources to develop concepts from a Phase 1 or Phase 2 award into commercial products or services for use by the federal government. The Small Business Administration determined it would compete a requirement. The requirement could use a SBIR-developed technology to support its requirement, but chose not to do so. The small business who developed the applicable SBIR technology informed the agency of its view that the agency must award a sole source award to its company because it could meet the requirement. The Small Business Administration chose to compete the requirement, so a protest was filed against the agency's action. The protester argues that the SBA violated the SBIR policy directive, which required the SBA to enter into good faith negotiations with it for the award of a sole source Phase 3 contract, because a Phase 3 contract would extend an effort that it started under an earlier Phase 1 and Phase 2 contract. The protester explains that the agency is subject to the special acquisition requirement that compels an agency to issue a Phase 3 SBIR award with the contractor that developed the technology. The SBA argued that its requirement does not derive from, extend, or complete the protester's prior SBIR work just because its technology may be applied to an agency's requirement. Therefore, it was not required to negotiate with the protester. En route to finding against the protester, the GAO determined that the special acquisition requirement does not apply to the procurement, because the agency does not specifically require the protester's SBIR-developed technology. A general requirement of a procuring agency that could be performed by numerous technologies does not qualify as mandatory Phase 3 work. Further, the GAO found that the government has discretion to pursue Phase 3 awards in this circumstance. But under these circumstances, the regulations do not dictate that a mandatory Phase 3 award be made to a contractor with an applicable SBIR technology. Given these facts, the protest was denied. Now let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include: 1. A Phase 3 sole source contract may be awarded to a vendor where the work derives from, extends, or completes efforts made under prior funding agreements. 2. Most Phase 3 awards are discretionary, and 3. Phase 3 awards are mandatory if the agency is seeking the exact technology developed by a SBIR vendor under a Phase 1 or Phase 2 funding agreement. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed the public relay case and the sole source concepts related to Phase 3 SBIR awards. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.